Hello, my name is Justin Bro, and I am with Argonne National Laboratory. Today, I'm talking to you from the Drake Hotel in Chicago at the AI InnovationXLab. The InnovationXLab, what is that, you say? It's an opportunity for industry and DOE national labs to talk and create collaborations that bank on the future of artificial intelligence and the societal impacts that it can come with. So today, what we're going to be doing is talking to each of these tables that you see. Matt, if you want to just look around here and check out all these tables that we have. Each one of these is a national lab. We also have some private industry here, and we're just showcasing what we have to offer in the world of artificial intelligence. But without further ado, we're just going to start with this gentleman over here.
Hi, Rob Bechtel, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. I want you to take this microphone.
I'll take this microphone.
And I got two questions for you, and the first is, what are you demonstrating today at the InnovationXLab?
So we're bringing you a demonstration of the Office of Technology Transitions, which is part of DOE. We're showcasing their lab partnering service, which is an easy access point for anybody trying to access the brilliance of the national labs, both from the person perspective, the facility perspective, the technology and patent and innovation perspective.
Okay. And what gets you most excited about the future of AI? Like what's in so far as the near term, what's coming out soon that you're most excited about?
So I actually designed a couple of projects that we run behind this lab partnering service program, where we take the 38,000 patents associated with the Department of Energy and create a tree diagram or a method by which people can find them through a touch and click interface. Okay. So we categorize all the patents in the DOE by lab and by a domain of science versus a USPTO designation. And we actually use machine learning behind that and neural networks to make that work.
And what does this do for, say, a scientist that wants to explore AI?
Well, our goal here is to make it possible, in this particular effort, to make it possible for them to find a patent or an innovation that may come out of a particular lab, and to be able to look at that and connect with that lab. Ultimately, the same individual could go back here and connect with other individuals across the lab enterprise of DOE, where they can then directly talk to experts and scientists in the labs with their question.
That's amazing.
Online, free for anybody.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
You too. Okay.
And that's amazing. So what we have today is we have over 300 people coming from the DOE National Lab Complex, as well as private industry. And we're going to talk to a couple more as we go over here. Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Doing well. How are you?
All right. My name is Justin Bro. I'm with Argonne National Laboratory. Nice to meet you. All right. I'm going to give you this microphone, and I got one question. I actually got two questions for you. What are you demonstrating here today?
Right now, we're launching our new office, the Artificial Intelligence Technology Office at the Department of Energy. The Secretary stood up this office about 4 weeks ago as a coordinating tool over all of our labs and all of our program offices to coordinate, prioritize, and kind of make sure that opportunities with artificial intelligence are being sought in order to improve daily lives. So we're taking a snapshot of all of the things that the Department of Energy is doing in the field of AI across the enterprise, including our national labs, including our programs, and trying to explain to people that there are ways that artificial intelligence can improve your daily life, whether it be from protecting the environment, increasing water efficiency usage, increasing crop yields, maximizing farmland usage, to our national security missions, like making sure that we stay at the front of hypersonic weaponry and the types of things that are inside our core missions. Beyond DOE's core missions, traditionally understood core missions of grid security and cybersecurity and those types of things, we're also applying DOE-fueled AI to neuroscience and to medical discovery, so that we can use artificial intelligence and machine learning to inform the formation of molecules to find better treatments for diseases, better outcomes for health problems.
Let me ask you this question. What gets you most excited about the most near-term innovation that has to do with AI?
Just the potential across the board is really staggering to me. I'm new to this field. I'm more of a general practitioner, and I've learned a lot about AI in the last couple of months. But the amount of application that there is to improve people's lives is literally staggering. There are things that we know. There are things we know we don't know. there are a bunch of things we don't even know we don't know. And
we're
that's
talking
where
about
we're going to get
unknown
this.
unknowns.
The
Is that what it
unknown
is?
unknowns,
Okay,
exactly.
there you go.
And that's where we're headed with this. So it's really exciting stuff. It's a great field to be involved in, and I'm really excited that the Department of Energy is out in the front of it.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
So all types of innovations going on. This is the new office set up by the Department of Energy. Again, as the gentleman was saying, it's basically bringing together all the national labs and all that research together to have a conversation about how can we be more efficient as a DOE complex. So we're going to move on. We're going to talk to Sandia National Labs, and we're going to talk to Joel here. Joel, how are we doing today?
Good. Yourself?
All right, I'm doing well. I'm going to give you this. Make sure you're talking to the mic for me.
Got it.
My first question for you is, what are you demonstrating here today from Sandia?
So we've got a couple of different technologies across many different industries. So one of the things that we've been talking about today is a technology called Hades that uses AI to create a network that mimics a real network. So it's run on a supercomputer, and you can set it up to create it, and it can look like a small company or a large company. And so when someone comes in on a cyber attack, we're able to divert them to the Hades environment and watch them actually to see what kinds of steps they take and what their intent is, rather than just booting them out of the network. So we use AI and machine learning to help create that entire environment.
Okay. And so my second question for you is, what near-term project are you most excited about coming out of Sandia that has to do with artificial intelligence?
So I think some of the ones that I find really interesting and exciting that are coming out are in the area of neuromorphic computing, where we're trying to increase the efficiency of doing computations and doing simulations on high-performance computers.
All right, so I'm going to take you back. Can you define neuromorphic computing for me?
Sure. So neuromorphic computing is, rather than the way that processors run today, Moore's law defines that there's only so far more efficient and fast they can get. So we have to find other ways of building those processors. And neuromorphic computing takes after the way that your brain functions and tries to redesign the computing off of that.
Okay, I'm sorry I broke into that, but
no problem.
Go ahead and finish your earlier answer.
No, I was just going to say, we use that again to try to improve the efficiency and speed of our calculations so that we can do better things and do simulations that are more complicated than what we're able to do today.
Well, that's because we're using the power of the brain, or we're
Right.
inspired by the brain.
Right.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Joel.
Thank you.
It's amazing. We're talking about using artificial intelligence inspired by the brain. Like, where else do you get that? Not a lot of places. Come on, let's keep going. And we're going to come over here now. Today we're going to talk to Pacific Northwest. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. And so we're on Facebook Live, and we're talking about Kanan. Yes. Very nice to meet you. All right. So let me give you this right here, and I'm going to ask you to talk right directly into the microphone. My first question for you is, what are you demonstrating here from PNNL?
So what we're demonstrating here from PNNL is artificial intelligence-based technologies that have come out of the laboratory and that address some of our sponsors' mission needs. Okay. And they are, the Vital Tag is one of them, which is a technology that was developed for first responder use, especially for mass casualty incidents. In terms of triaging patients that require urgent care versus those that can wait a little bit until care can be provided to them. The second technology we have here is the ultrasonic bonding technology that shows you ultrasonic bonding of dissimilar materials. And one of the key features about this is that, or one of the key applications of this technology is that it can be used for welding connections onto batteries and cell phones, which have to be very specifically bonded to a certain quality level. And so often what happens is that when a battery is not bonded properly, you can get a situation where a battery can catch fire. So what this does is it uses the acoustic signals while you're bonding a battery. And based upon that acoustic signal, it can make a determination whether that bond was a good bond or a bad bond. And so that way you can do in situ monitoring of the production processes itself.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the third technology I have there is the acoustic gunshot detection technology. And this is a This is a low-cost technology that allows the detection of a gun that was fired in a room, and it can make that detection on board itself. It can determine whether a gunshot was fired or not, and if a gunshot was fired, it transmits that waveform to a commodity computer where it can actually tell you what was the caliber of the weapon that was fired. Now, both this information is very important, where the gun was fired and the caliber of the weapon, because the combination of the two is what first responders need to respond to such a call, because they need to wear appropriate protective gear to show up for one of these calls.
Sure. So let me say, you talked about a lot of different things here. What are you most excited about insofar as artificial intelligence coming out of PNNL?
I'm the most...
you got to pick one.
I got to pick only one. That's hard.
Yeah.
But no, we've got some really fantastic technologies. Like there's a technology called ShortZor, which unfortunately I don't have something that's sitting here, but it's a few-shot learning tool that allows data analysts to go through millions of images or analyze millions of images by simply looking at a few images, categorizing them, and that in turn goes on and categorizes millions of images. So again, for our national security sponsors or the analysts that have to look at all these images and categorize them in certain ways, a technology such as few-shot learning would be very useful.
Right, because if you had a human sitting down doing all those,
yes,
it would take forever.
Exactly, versus him just pointing at one or two images saying that this is what it looks like, and then boom, it's going and taking care of the rest of the images from there.
That's awesome. The innovations just keep on coming.
All right, thank you.
Yes. With PNNL, we got more. Yeah. So keep going on. Again, so we're here at the Department of Energy InnovationXLab Summit. The whole purpose of this summit is to bring together Argonne, not just Argonne, Department of Energy National Labs with industry to have a conversation, to create those connections, to find out the future path of artificial intelligence as it applies to our life. And some of these technologies we've been talking about already. The next thing we're going to talk about comes down here. And we already see some familiar things from my perspective. What we have right here is a node. It's an array of things node. So what we're going to talk about here is this array of things node. But we have who? What's your name?
My name is Hong Ha.
Hong Ha. Hi, I'm Justin, and you're going to be on Facebook Live right now. All right, so cool. So do me a favor.
Yeah.
And explain to me what you're demonstrating here today.
So this one is a Waggle node. We call it Waggle. So it's a wireless sensor network platform. So
okay.
we deployed this Waggle node in the city of Chicago to collect data such as temperature, humidity, or pressure. Also images of cross-section to see how many people are there, how many vehicles are there, and how they are interact with in that area.
And what's the most exciting idea about insofar as artificial intelligence for this technology?
So this one, using this kind of edge devices, which is really fit to the machine learning stuff. And the devices are really small, so we can put in the Waggle node to make them work at the edge, like in the street, to do the analysis right away when they get images from these sensors.
That's pretty amazing. And how many of these nodes do you say are in Chicago?
We have almost 120 nodes in the city of Chicago.
All over the city?
In the city of Chicago, and all over the city that's more than that. We have some in Portland, some in Seattle, and some in other Taiwan or Japan. Yep.
And is this just used by national labs, or do you have private industry, or do you have people that are not affiliated with the national lab using these nodes for scientific purposes?
Yeah, sure. Anyone can use this for scientific purposes. Mostly universities are using these nodes for the research. Yep.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, and that's amazing. So we have over 100 nodes that are populated throughout Chicagoland, but you also had Hong Ha mention that there are more nodes that are in other cities. You know, and this is just how artificial intelligence is inspiring the possibilities that we can do with our communities. So we're going to keep moving, going on down here, and see what we can see. and we're going to break in over here. Hello, how you doing? Hi, I'm Justin. I'm from Argonne National Lab. We're on Facebook Live right now. I got one question for you.
Okay.
Kirsten, do you mind? Why don't you take the microphone there?
Okay.
All right. So, if you can, tell us what you're demonstrating here today.
We're demonstrating the AI capabilities that Brookhaven National Lab is offering, and what we are particularly interested in and bringing forward and researching is large streaming data where you have to make decisions very quickly in real time to drive optimization of systems, to drive decisions. So that's what we're selling here today.
That's amazing. So my last question for you is, what is the most exciting thing coming out of AI from Brookhaven for you?
I think the most exciting is actually one of the, the excitement is driven by the impact. We've developed a new machine learning technology that can predict early onset of Alzheimer's.
Wow.
And so that will make a huge difference to the care of the Alzheimer's patients, being able to put them on medication early on to improve their quality of life.
So we're talking definitive societal impact right here.
Yes.
We're talking people, I don't know how many people are afflicted by Alzheimer's patients.
But it's a huge community, and it's a growing one.
Right. And so this is a perfect application of artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
To be able to help people that are in need.
Yes. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's the one I'm most excited about.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. We're going to keep moving. So, I mean, the stories keep coming on. We're talking about helping people that are with Alzheimer's. We also have programs that help people with cancer. So the applications are endless here. We're going to move on down to Fermilab.
We just call it the Farmer website.
And here. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm going to give you this microphone right here, whoever would like to talk. So I got one question for you. And if you didn't know, Fermilab is relatively close to Argonne National Laboratory. But we want to talk for your first question is, what are you here demonstrating at the InnovationXLab?
So we're here to talk about Fermilab's mission, which is particle physics. We have some literature here showcasing the DUNE experiment, which is a neutrino experiment, the world's largest long baseline neutrino experiment that will be probing very deep fundamental questions about the nature of matter. We think it could help us answer the question of how are we here? Why do we have a universe which is matter dominated and not created with equal portions of matter and antimatter, which would have led to annihilation of all matter, and we would just be living in a bath of photons and nothing else, and we wouldn't be here to have this conversation.
We wouldn't be living.
We wouldn't be living.
There
That's right. So that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about how AI empowers that mission. AI is a critical part of that. These sorts of experiments are huge, giant experiments. You can see the installations from space. They generate internet-scale data sets, and so AI is a key part of how we analyze that data and how we capture that data. And it even filters into our detectors for, we instrument smart sensors, edge detectors with capabilities like real-time AI. That's a key part of how we make all of that work.
Okay. Do you want to say something?
So thanks, Gabe. The most important thing is, as you said, is we are a particle physics lab. Our mission is to probe the physics of matter. On trying to do that, we have developed these capabilities that we really think the industry partners can leverage by working with us. The special expertise is on real-time AI. We generate internet-scale data sets.
When you say internet, I just want to get back to it. So when you say internet scale, what do you mean by that?
So if you look at, everyone draws little cartoons, right? Like little bubble graphs of this is how much data Twitter has, and this is the Internet Archive, and this is how many photos are on Facebook. So we're on that plot. You can look at us. We're on that scale, right? Like if you look at the bubbles, we aren't an invisible dot in the corner that doesn't show up. We're a respectable bubble.
And especially since Facebook themselves, they have over 2 billion users.
Yep.
That's a lot of content.
They have a lot of content. But
that's the scale you're talking about.
So, because for particle physics experiments, they generate data so fast that we humans, as a civilization, cannot record it all fast enough. It's like the mother of all fire hoses of data, giving you everything you could imagine, and we can only capture a tiny fraction of that, right? And that's where the real-time AI comes in, actually, is it's important to make the best decision possible with the little bit of data that you actually are able to capture and save. You have to make sure that you're capturing and saving the most important stuff. You want to capture and save the events and the material that could help you win a Nobel Prize. If you let that go by, you've made a big mistake.
Somebody else gets a Nobel, and we don't want that to happen.
That's right. Well, or even worse, nobody ever knows the truth. Nobody ever understands this facet of nature. Because, okay,
Last question, what gets you most excited about AI from a Fermilab perspective?
For me, as a person who's working on the business side of things, and I'm a science guy, but I'm also working. The most important thing is the amazing stuff at Fermilab, which allows us, that can actually open complete doors in the industry scale. For example, if you want to match a pattern, and then let's imagine a chip that you send entire internet into through it, and then if you want to search for a pattern, we can do it in a few seconds. Imagine taking all the internet and putting it into a chip, and then searching for a pattern, let's say Fermilab, we can do it in a few seconds. Now that's powerful.
You have one?
yeah, I'm with Charles. The real-time AI is super exciting. It's much faster even than a few seconds. It's hundreds of nanoseconds, right? And that inference that fast opens up entirely new vistas. We don't know what all people would be able to do with it. I mean, we need it to make our science work. Right? We have to develop these kinds of technologies in order to answer the science questions that we want to answer. But creative entrepreneurs and other industries and all kinds of people will find all kinds of cool uses for that technology.
Yeah, just like the secretary, actually Rick Perry said from Argonne this morning, we're open for business. So the national labs are ready to partner with industrial partners to figure out the future.
Come out
That's
to
right.
Batavia Fermilab. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So our doors are open. We're going to come to the other side of the room and talk to a couple more national labs. I see Los Alamos over here. And the cool thing is, over here at Los Alamos, they have a pamphlet here called Leveraging Connections. And actually that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk with our industrial partners, or potential industrial partners, and talk about how those connections can create a future artificial intelligence that works for everybody, right? All right, so I'm going to leave it over here. We have Michael and we have Kaylin. Yes. Very nice to meet you. I'm going to give you this microphone, make sure you talk directly into it.
Yep.
Our first question is, what today is Los Alamos demonstrating?
Well, we're leveraging a wide variety of expertise in physics domains that are cross-disciplinary and cross-application. And we're leveraging that in conjunction with our computing expertise. So in particular today, we're highlighting some of our infrastructure, sensor-based and environmental sort of technologies where we can use machine learning and artificial intelligence to extract new patterns and draw new conclusions about earthquake modeling, disease prediction, to infrastructure modeling and assurance.
That's awesome. All right, my last question for you. What is the most exciting thing about AI coming to Los Alamos?
That's a great question. I think we're most excited about being able to further expedite how quickly we can innovate and to solve some of the nation's most challenging problems.
About the speed, right?
Speed and quality,
there
right?
You go. And accuracy, yeah.
And accuracy, yes.
Excellent, thank you so much, appreciate it. Just another example, come on, we got one more.
I heard you guys are interested in what you just
So if you look around, you can see Cerebus, who's over there. They just became an Argonne collaborator. And here we have Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. And so maybe we can stop over here to talk a little bit about Facebook. So we're on Facebook Live. My name is Justin. I'm from Argonne. And this is Charity. Very nice to meet you. I'm going to give you this microphone really quick. And I just have a couple questions for you.
Go for it.
My first is, what are you here demonstrating from Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory?
We are here from Lawrence Livermore, and we are actually here to talk about all of our different artificial intelligence capabilities. So I work in our Innovation and Partnerships office, and our role at the laboratory is to help our research scientists find homes for our new technologies, find partners that we can build new capabilities with, and really help grow the nation.
Awesome. And what is most exciting to you about what's coming out of LL&L so far as artificial intelligence is concerned?
Great. Well, our signature program right now is Lawrence Livermore leads for the Department of Energy the ATOM Consortium. Right. We're in partnership with the University of California, San Francisco, and with Leidos, who runs the Frederick National Laboratory Set for Cancer Research, and with GSK. So that big program is to use AI to help accelerate the drug discovery. It takes a lot of years to get from finding a molecule into a research target that can then turn into a drug. And that's really our #1 project right now.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We can stop there. We can stop right there. We've taken you on a tour of a lot of different national labs. There's cancer research. We're talking about Alzheimer's research. We're talking about the ATOM program. There are all these different programs, and I think it's important to stress that we're just at the beginning. These connections are just being made insofar as what is possible with artificial intelligence. And I'll leave you with this. As everyone pretty much will tell you, the Department of Energy National Labs are open for business. Connect with us and find out how we can create the future. Thank you so much for tuning in. You have a great day.